Good afternoon, Nkositalkshows family. Snomsa here at Nkositalkshows. Find your own voice, lit from within. So, guys, I'm here for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or half an hour. I just want to talk about the truth and lies surround Sean Diddy Combs. Is he really guilty? I would like to know if he's actually guilty. And I'm sure you guys would like to know if he is actually guilty, because there is dark reality behind fame, the lies and the truth about Black musicians and film stars. You name it, even in the white community as well, there's so much lies in the dark side about Hollywood. So in this world of music and film industry, Black artists are often celebrated for their talent, their influence to our society and success. But beneath the glamour and everything in fame lies a harsh reality filled with untold struggles and untold stories for decades. These film stars and musicians, they've been whispers, rumors, and everything, you name it, that lies. Black musicians and actors, tabloid gossip, many stem from a deeper, more sinister truth. So too often, Black artists are forced into a situation of exploitation and abuse by powerful figures in the industry, and leaving them trapped in a cycle of control and despair. So now Sean Diddy has been accused with all these accusations that are coming through. So for me now is I just want to understand the truth and shed the light on a harsh reality that many Black creative face behind the scenes, and all this putting the Black artist in prison. And if you look at it, all these people, they become famous. And if you look at the whole history of them, they become famous. If they don't go to prison, it's suicidal. So is this the culture of film industry and the music industry? These musicians, they take their own life. Like if you see like what Sean Diddy is going through, he's going through prison now. And if that does not take it, that does not destroy him, he would then have to take his own life. So what is the pattern between why do we choose as a Black community, why do we choose to ignore the truth? For me, some of you guys know that I shared, let me share my video actually. I'm going to be back anyway for my proper talk show topic, because I do have a topic for today. But I just thought, let me just come here for a few minutes on my break time and just share the story of, for me, what I know about the secret in Hollywood, the secret that I went through, and the secret that I witnessed myself. So now the question that I ask myself now is, Sean Diddy actually guilty? The question is, I'm not sure if he is actually guilty. I'll tell you guys the reason why I'm not sure whether he is actually guilty. I know there are some people who are very, very judgmental. People, they're just like what they see on the news. To them, it has to become real. But for me, I will be doing the same myself. But because of what I know now, the question is now, is he actually guilty? The reason why I'm asking myself that, is he actually guilty? Some of you know that I've shared my story with going through the human blood sacrifice with the Hollywood spirit. And my grandfather went through it, and my grandfather, he was rejected by his family members. He's the one that trained me to become the person that I am today. He was a professional musician, but he went through so much pain with my family. My family, all these like people from different angles with the accusations. So they accused him because I was going through the human blood sacrifice. My grandfather was accused for years. He was tortured. He went through so much pain. And now that this spirit of Hollywood, that it came to me to actually offering me a lifetime to say, I will give you this. If you do this, I will make you famous. I'll make you this. But knowing that behind the scenes, it had already been joined by somebody else to actually take my life for human blood sacrifice, but which they did not succeed. I came out. I actually prayed to God. There were so many pastors who joined together to get me out. So now, with what I have experienced, my experience for me when I met the people that are actually sacrificing people in Hollywood, sexually abused, Diddy wasn't there. He wasn't there. I swear with my mother's life, by the power in the blood of Jesus, he wasn't there. For I know he's being accused for human blood sacrificing children. He's being abused, and I'm going to come back for the abuse that he's been accused by his ex-girlfriend. That abuse with his ex-girlfriend is true. So I'm going to explain why is it true. Because at the end of the day, we are all Black people, and Black people music is the culture of our society, even white people. We are all living in this earth. We listen to the music of these famous people. We watch their film. But now the question is, if this industry continue the way is going, there's so much blood sacrifice. We have to watch their films. There's so much sexual abuse. We have to watch their films. There's so much physically, emotionally abuse. We have to go through all these things. But as the community, as this people within the society, we get affected. Emotionally, we get affected. If we are watching music for somebody who is like involved in human blood sacrifice, that means that can affect the audience. It can affect the people that are actually watching, the people that are actually involved in that, the audience, they end up being taken by their gods. But for me now, the question is, because Lucifer took me into a tour, and this spirit of Hollywood took me into a tour when they wanted to sacrifice me, but Diddy was not there. So I can stand in truth and say, Diddy wasn't there, but other people were there, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there. But who is behind? The reason why I'm saying this is that I don't want people to start, because the more people, when they get into the story inside with these people that are not knowing the story, what exactly is going on. The part of these people, when they sell their soul, when you sell your soul to these guys or to Lucifer for fame, part of it is for you to go through humiliation. Some people, there's different human blood sacrifice that people, the ending. Sometimes you get to pick how many years you can live in that fame. If you pick 50 years, it means you can pick that 50 years. The demon will ask you to pick 50 years. When you pick that 50 years, it means by the end of when you are age 50, let's say you become famous when you are like 20 or when you are 18, if you sell your soul, there are terms and conditions that, okay, there is no human selling your soul that is free. Selling your soul, it involves human blood. It involves too many things. It involves meaning that when you sell your soul, if you go to if your show is sold out, it means your fans that are following you every year, you got to give the blood. These people, it means they are selling their soul, they are musicians, they are celebrities, but it means every year they have to give the blood to this spirit, to these gods. Who is blood are they giving? Is the audience, not their families. It means they are sacrificing the audience. If Sean Diddy had sold his soul, it means when he goes, in order for money to come in order for the money to come in for him to get the success that he needs, in order for the gigs to be sold out, every year he needs to take a soul within the audience. If it's not the audience, it means it's family. Means every year you got to take a member of your family, but they don't choose their family, because if they were all choosing their family, they will be left with nobody. So what they choose is the audience. You have to choose somebody. Is either, if it's not the audience, it's the member of your family. So meaning that if Diddy is involved in human blood sacrifice, is involved in selling his soul, his gigs for it to be sold out, there's got to be a soul within the audience that has to be taken. That soul has to be taken through cancer. It has to be taken through sickness or untimely death. But these people, the actually audience, the people that are actually the fans of them, they don't know that's the case. For me, I learned it through when the pastors set me down and telling me that, Nomsa, you are under human blood sacrifice. And I was, what now? What does this human blood sacrifice? The human blood sacrifice, my human blood sacrifice that was agreed and signed, it was a human blood sacrifice that it has to take a family member for a year. But because I live in United Kingdom, the altar will be created in United Kingdom. So that altar, meaning it would take a life in the UK every year for that person to maintain that wealth. It would take people for a year. But my sacrifice was not like an ordinary sacrifice. It involved so many things because of the abilities they wanted to take from me. So it involved that they needed too many people to create that sacrifice to kill them, so I can be brought to that altar. My blood, when my blood arrives to so many people, and when that is created, that serpent, I become a god in the spirit as a dead spirit. And that person, meaning that they can be a billionaire using my blood. So that was the sacrifice. So what I don't understand is people hear celebrities saying they've sold their soul, but they still support their music. They still support everything, what they are doing. selling their soul and sacrificing people because they don't know what goes on behind that sacrifice. When somebody says, I sold my soul for me to be famous, they are not just saying their soul, they are saying, I sold my soul to kill you all on earth. So that means they are taking a life. It means they have audience around the world. So people are dying for them. If they are not taking their own, like they are not taking their own blood, that means somebody else is being sacrificed on their behalf. But who is that? Is the audience. But for me, Diddy wasn't there. And the reason why I'm saying he wasn't there, but there was other artists that were there who are involved in witchcraft. And this artist that is involved in witchcraft, their witchcraft is not just witchcraft. Their witchcraft is strong. If it wasn't for God, it would have killed me. Because Lucifer opened the doors, he was like, okay, you don't want to die. You don't want to follow me because God refused. When somebody puts you under sacrifice, the ancestors, if your ancestors do not appear to stop that death, or ancestors in God, if those two people don't appear to stop the sacrifice goes ahead. But for me, I was lucky because my ancestors appeared and said no. God appeared and said no. Because they have to get the permission. United Kingdom, the gatekeeper, the angels of gatekeepers, they have to get the permission from United Kingdom gatekeepers, angels. Every country has the gatekeepers in the realm of the spirit, but they appeared and said no. If they did not appear, that means the sacrifice go ahead. But every gate in the realm of the spirit for my sacrifice, it was refused to say, no, you cannot take her life. But then now Diddy is facing all this problem, is facing all this now. Okay, I went through all this myself. I was like, okay, that's fine. But going through that, there was something that I learned about the Hollywood spirit, that they are joining these celebrities, that they are joining. The part of their selling their soul, it means that they have to be humiliated at the end. The fame has to swap. Now Diddy has enjoyed his soul. Because even my sacrifice was to swap my life with the person, a child of a person that wanted their child to be fame in my bloodline, in my family, that has sold me out. Because when you join this spirit, what this spirit does is it gives you option. In order for me to give you fame, it will ask you, are you willing to put your child under human blood sacrifice? Or is there a member of your family that you need to choose to go under human blood sacrifice on your behalf? Or do you choose to go and buy? Some people, they buy children, they will go to these poor countries like Ghana, Nigeria. They go to different countries, even in Europe, they will buy a child and sacrifice our child. The child, most of them is the children that are orphanage, that haven't got parents. So for me, the spirit was like, okay, now the spirit has to go through the DNA. When he goes through the DNA of the bloodline, he now has to choose the person that he wants. And that person, he gets told that this is the person that can give you the glory that you need, the fame that you need. Do you agree? And then that person has to sign a blood signature of death to say, yes, I agree for her life. So that is the process for me that was done, to say, yes, we agree, this person agree. And the human blood sacrifice is a human blood sacrifice of love. They have to sacrifice, this person has to sacrifice the person that they love the most, which was me. And And then I went through all that, but now when I was getting through, because my survival, it didn't mean that I was off the wall. So I had to be tortured for God refusing me to die, for my ancestors refusing me to die. I had to go through the torture, but I wasn't on my own. God was always there with me. The angel of God was always there with me. When they appear, he will appear. When they put the pain, he wipe away that pain. I would have been left with the brain damage, but he wipe away that pain, which is it would have left me with mentally health problems. When I'm saying mentally health problems, meaning my brain dead, like completely not knowing who I am. But because I was praying that moment, there were pastors who knew how it works, and then they were fighting with me in that process. And then what made me actually question all of these celebrities that have been taken to court for abuse, for everything. So this spirit appears now. I was at the wedding, my friend's wedding. This is my best friend I have known for years. The person that I cry to when I have problems, when I have secret to share, I will go to her. So I went to her wedding. When I went to her wedding was beautiful. The Hollywood spirit with all this thing. When I'm talking about the Hollywood spirit, guys, this spirit is the spirit that is carrying musicians that have sold their soul. Is the spirit that is carrying film stars that have sold their soul. Is the spirit that is carrying pastors that are famous that have sold their soul. Is the spirit that is carrying the bloodlines that have sold their souls, is carrying millions and millions and millions of people. And some people, they don't even know that their bloodline sold their souls, and they are in it. I was in it myself because of being sold for human blood sacrifice, but I came out. So when I'm talking about somebody selling their soul, it does not mean necessarily they've sold their soul for human blood sacrifice. Some people, they just sold their soul to have a God that they worship. When Lucifer recruits them, or whoever the gods, because there are so many gods out there, when they appear and recruit them, they say yes. They go into one place. That is, they are being carried, meaning when they die, they don't go to heaven, they go to the pit of hell. But it's those people, they don't know that. So what happens is this spirit that is carrying millions and millions, it shows up. When my friend's wedding, I felt it that day when she was getting married, and then it disappeared. The following day, African culture, when you get married, she was getting married here in the UK. You get married, and then the following day, you have to have a party, invite the people that you're closest to, your close friends, your close family. And she invited everybody, me and my children. I went to her wedding for the second time. And I was meant to leave early, but for some reason, I just decided to stay. And then I went upstairs. When I went upstairs, I was listening to my pastor. Sometimes, like sometimes when you want to, actually Hassani came in and said, can we pray? But in the room where we were in, I didn't know that it was her room. And then he was like, then we got kicked out of the bridegroom room, and then we had to go to another room. And then Hassani left me, but it was this spirit planning everything. Hassani left and went upstairs. So I'm listening to Dr. Olukoya's coming in on Saturday. He was live on YouTube. I'm listening to him. And then he said something that was affecting my life, like through my bloodline, my parents and stuff when I was born. So I was like coming to observe the message. I switched off the audio and observing the message. I'm sitting there and observing the message. Her friend my friend's friend came upstairs. And I could feel that the spirit was there, but instead it jumped to her. It took over her body. When it took over her body, she now tries to kill me. Because I'm under human blood sacrifice, she now tries to kill me. And then the angel of God appears. He goes, look down. Then I'm looking down. And he says, if you don't do something now, right now, you will be dead. You need to do something. So this girl, she said to me, why are you upstairs? Everyone is downstairs. We had been there all day, tired, eating. We had enjoyed food. I was exhausted. So me, I'm just like relaxing. You know, sometimes you need some some me time and you relax. So she was like, why are you sitting up here? Why are you not downstairs with everybody? If a normal person will say that, it's fine. But then and say, do you want mind to go downstairs? We don't want you to sit upstairs because it's their house anyway. So she would have said that, but instead she grabbed me. When she grabbed me, that's when the angel of God said, my friend lives in a townhouse. And the angel of God said, look down. If you go down there, you cannot survive. Do something right now. But then I took because she was grabbing me, it was cold, I was wearing my jacket. So I was like, do something, what can I do? She was like pushing me, like she wanted to kill me because the spirit had taken over her. So what I did is I came out. I took my jacket off. So I left her and went down. I just went like this, took my jacket off. She left her holding my jacket and I looked at her. I ran downstairs. I came out. I was shocked. I was crying. My daughter was crying. And then I went outside. I stayed there for 1 hour. And because I left my jacket with her, she had left my jacket. So when I came in, they were busy talking. There were so many people in that day. And my jacket was upstairs. So I went to get my jacket. We were going to stay for the night. And then I said to my daughter, we need to go now. I'm going upstairs, taking my jacket. She follows me again. Same story. And I was like, what is she doing? But then now I had to push her. And then I left. Before I left, I tried to speak to my friend. Everyone, like she went downstairs and told everyone that Nomsa was chanting upstairs, chanting a witchcraft chant. I don't even know how do you chant it. I didn't even in my head, I didn't even know about witchcraft chanting, that people chanted for witchcraft. She was chanting witchcraft upstairs. And I was quiet when she came upstairs. Everybody turned against me. They wouldn't listen to my story. They wouldn't listen. It was the most humiliation in my life. It was the most humiliation I have ever gone through. Like watching somebody trying to take my life. It took me the whole month, I think, to come to terms with what would have been if that girl had taken my life. I'd gone to a wedding. My family, they knew that I have gone to a wedding, but I wouldn't have come home. My daughter, I would have gone to the mortuary. My daughter would have come home maybe with social services. And now that then I'm sitting down and now coming to terms with everything. Then I realized actually it was the spirit. This is how the spirit worked, the false accusation. It was false. I had half friends calling me saying, Nomsa, the story, this is what happened. I was like, this is not what happened. But when they were calling me now, they were going behind my friend's back, now backstabbing her. And I said to them, I know my friend for a very, very long time. I stick to what I believe. Even if she did not believe me, I stand by truth as a child of God. I love her, and I'm not going to be dragged into lies. But what she didn't know was her ancestors did not agree to the wedding. Not agreeing to the wedding, that Hollywood spirit wanted my life to sacrifice me. They had to go recruit her ancestors to come in as an agreement to destroy her wedding. And by doing that, she thought Nomsa was wrong, but they had wronged me. Because you cannot take somebody else. You cannot take a life or try to kill a life that was created by God. The following day, I hear my ancestors now, they are in a home. They are speaking now, bringing judgment to her. So that's when I've realized that actually this spirit it wasn't about me. It put me as a bet is either I die. If I don't die, meaning that her in the spirit, she has been accused. There is a case that has been put against her. So this Hollywood spirit, whenever these celebrities, whenever they need a blood, one day she's going to have to cough up because my name has been put under her wedding. Her wedding now, it has got a case under Nomsa in the realm of the spirit that you try to kill witness's daughter in your own home on your wedding day. Therefore, a life for a life. But that she doesn't know. That's what she's going to face one day. She might either have to give her family, one of her family members, she might have to give her children one day, or she might have to give her life one day. That's how the spirit works. There's no negotiable unless if she goes to God directly and ask for forgiveness, for mercy. But that is not up to me now. So this is that made me realize when this thing was going on. And I was like, if this Hollywood spirit is humiliating, it was actually humiliating because I'd refused to get famous through them. I had refused to die. So it was actually humiliating my character because my friend knows me very well. When my friend knows me very well, it means she can talk to other people, my character gets destroyed. So I become nothing. When your character is being destroyed, people gossiping about you, that means you get like stressed. But for me, because I had already made a decision to change my character to follow God completely, I had come to an understanding how God works in the realm of the spirit. So everything that was going on, I'll go to him straight and ask for forgiveness and ask for forgiveness on behalf of my friend. So what they did after that, when that did not work, he went to this spirit went to my friend, another best friend. This best friend is somebody that I know for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. She's got 3 kids, 3 boys. She reported me social services with the things she just picked up. I said something, she just picked up the phone and reported me to social services. But she wasn't actually, at that moment, I came to an understanding that I wasn't no longer fighting my friends. I knew what I was facing. I was facing human blood sacrifice for me to die slowly. The part of it was to take my children away. What happens when they take your children away? You die, it's stress. Stress can kill me. And then when I'm stressed, that means they can catch my soul. They can actually catch my soul for me to die, killing me in a different way. But because the angel of God was coming in and telling me everything, my friend who reported me through under social services, like I'm saying to you, a life for a life. She wanted the social services would have taken my children away. But they didn't, because I told them off. And when I told them off, they back off. But social service don't do that. They don't back off. So that's what made me very, very suspicious. And that's when I realized that God is involved, is fighting my case. And now the social services, they back off. My friend lost her son. Her son is if you Google it on BBC, her son, the people break into her home, her son was killed. And that's when I came to an understanding that this spirit or this Hollywood spirit, it does not, there's nothing for free. So it was life for a life. And then my friend lost, she's caused pain for me to take my children because it doesn't care. Lucifer does not care who is hurting. Now she caused pain for me. It wanted the agenda. It was for it to get a child's blood, human blood sacrifice for a child. So my friend, she reports me, and I tell them off, I kick them out, and now she has to pay the price. She paid the price with her oldest son. Her son was found dead, people breaking into her home. And he was stabbed, and these people didn't take anything in the house. They killed him. This is the woman that has stood by me through thick and thin. My best friend, the people that is somebody that I know, like when my life was, when I didn't have, like when I didn't have a citizenship in the UK, she was somebody when I was applying for my citizenship, going through like whatever pain that I go through, I'll speak to her. She knew me very well. She knew the pain. She stood by me. I stood by her. Whenever she needs me, I was there. This is my best friend, like a sister, but she lost her son through them. But I've never shared my story with anybody. So for me now, the question is, these Black celebrities, now it left me with questions that if this spirit is how it works, it took over my friend's body, both of them. Her friend, my friend's friend, took over. She tries to kill me. I survived, and then it left, but it hasn't left. It's still there. It will appear when it's time for my friend to go through judgment. With my other friend, I went through, it took over her, and she picked up the phone and called social services. I was there. Like not to say like she was calling social services while I wasn't there. I was there, standing next to her, and I tried to stop her, but she wouldn't stop. And then after that, I tell the social services off, and the social services goes, same thing. And then after, she loses her son. But at the time when the pastors started explaining that Nomsa, they are taking children through you because you are meant to be dead, but you are not dead. And this person that put you under human blood sacrifice, they want the blood. And they have joined this Hollywood, that's men. And then I was like, so the false accusation, so that means these celebrities, whatever they have not done, unless there is evidence that is being presented. There's evidence. When I'm talking about the evidence, I'm talking about pictures, I'm talking about videos. So I was like, so that means some people, innocent people, they die. They get accused and they die. So I was like, if I wasn't strong, I don't know this angel of God, how things turn out to be like for God to be like the way he has been in my life to stand by me. The only thing that I know that I've changed is I was fed up with my life. And then I said, I'm just going to decide to pray to God and fast and just connect myself with God. And that day my life changed. But I think it was the angel of God letting me know that you've been assigned through death. So you need to do something. And since then, I cannot die. And then when I said everything was over, I think, it's this year, a few months ago. And my spouse comes in at home and he says, somebody rang my family. They want to report to the social service. I was like, no, tell your family not to get involved. I knew what was coming. They didn't understand it, but I understood it. I had to keep sending messages to make sure they get upset with me. They do not get involved because I knew they wanted a child through my spouse's bloodline. They said somebody rang them, social services. Now is about Kayla, my youngest daughter, rang them. Apparently, they're going to report me to the social services. This person called them. That is going to call social services because of what? I said, tell your family not to get involved. I did not explain why. Don't tell them not to get involved because I knew what was coming. I knew that if they had got it, I said to them, if this person has come to you and they want to report me to social services, let them pick up the phone on their own without coming to you. Why are they coming to you? And the pastors confirmed that he wants blood through my spouse's family. He wants a child. And I said, no. I had to go mad constantly. I had to send a text and I was like, either way, they're going to fed up. They're going to get pissed off with me. They're not going to get involved in this. I'm not going to tell them why, but because when you tell somebody why, the more people say, you've gone mad. And then in the more they want to do it. So for me, I was like, I kept saying, don't get involved. If this person has said they want to report it, if myself, I have seen somebody maybe thinking that a child is in danger, I have to pick up the phone. If that is the truth, I pick up the phone, I'll ring social services. There is no way that I'm going to start finding allies to be on my side and then finding allies and the gossip and stuff. If the truth is the truth, the child is in danger, you pick up the phone, you ring social services. So I said to them, listen, don't get involved. If somebody feels that my daughter is in danger, let them pick up the phone and call social services. Let me deal with the social services. But in the end, it wasn't this. That person did not call the social services. Now I'd stopped my in-laws getting involved with the social services. Now it was my daughter's school. It was now my daughter's school that called social services on my behalf. Now the spirit wants the blood. And then I show up at school and oh no, I shared a dream that I had a dream, like there was a dream that it keeps appearing, a child going missing in Henley. And it did happen. The child the child nearly somebody took a child at Trinity that following week. So I said to what I've said to the parents and the head teacher, I said when people are dropping a child, like children at the school, make sure that the parents hand the children to the head teacher or to the teachers. Because the dream that I'm having, if I have a dream that keeps repeating, that means it would happen. And I've had this dream since I was a baby. Sometimes in my family, they will be busy gossiping and stuff. And that's the part of it why they wanted to sacrifice me and for fame. And I'll be telling my family, this is what happened. So my family knew. And I'll be telling them, this is what is going to happen. Or that one, who is that one? And they'll be like talking. I will know that one is having an affair with that one. You know, like in the street, when people are married and they're having an affair. So I'll just say it that one is having an affair with that one. But I'll just go quiet and not say anything. That's my gift. That's who I am. So I said that about more, and the head teacher called the social services. And a week later, at Trinity, the child nearly got taken, and the police were involved. And the following week, outside Henley, was this outside Henley, the child nearly got taken, and the police got involved. There was two couple. I think it was the two couple, two men or one woman that the police were following, and the child nearly got taken. Where I live, there's a child that went missing. Where in the building where I live, there's a child that went missing for 8 to 10 weeks. So those are the things that I saw, and the head teacher thought I was going mad, but it was being controlled by this spirit. It controlled him to call social service. When social services called me, I told them off again, and they left. I told them off, and I said, but that was before the child was actually the real thing started happening on Facebook. That even in Sono Common, there was a 19-year-old that nearly got taken through the van by two men. This girl, she's 19. I got a message through the Abbey saying in that week when I was having all these dreams that there's a child that nearly got taken. And even during lockdown, there was a child again in Henley that nearly got taken. So all those things. So when I was telling the head teacher, but he thought mentally health problems. I think she's got mentally health problems. Why would she have a vision of a child? But when the social services called me, I said, listen, I'm a Black woman from Africa. So what you see, people see, they see a stupid woman who is coming from who is African. Mentally health, when it talk about people is all mentally health. So I said, if somebody famous person would called now and say, I have had a vision, this is what is going on, you all listen, right? So I asked that question. I said, you will listen when somebody, and I said to them, if you look at the history, I'm sick and tired of social services. I keep getting called, you guys keep getting called, and for no reason. And the woman said, she was like, Nomsa was like, yes. If you look at the record, people keep calling you for no reason. Why don't you all ask yourself, why do these people keep calling us for no reason? So I said to her, back off. I said, you can come to my home. Don't call me, come to my home. And then he judged me and said, Nomsa, you have mental health problems. I said, come to my home where I live. Look at my work, what I do, and then tell me that, yes, you have mental health problems. So then after that, they backed off. But when they backed off, now the school had to pay the price. People were leaving just like that. People were leaving. I left myself. I got really upset, but then I forgave. And then in the end, I was like, this is not where I need to be. I moved my daughter. And when I moved my daughter, the whole class followed me. But this head teacher, he hasn't done anything. He was just being controlled. And just for doing that, he had to pay the price, losing pupils in his school. They left. Too many people left. The school parents were pulling, not because of me. They were accusing the school of not being the good school, but there was nothing wrong with the school. It was part of the plan. You had to somebody, Lucifer Heggie, would do the same. So now, when I looked at all these things that were happening, this false accusation, and this is what left me with questions. These people that are these film stars, the musicians, they are joining this spirit for fame. So if they are joining it, are these really accusations? Are they real or not? Because if the accusations are real, where the accusation, there is a video that can back that up, is true. But any accusation that it hasn't got a backup, that it has somebody testifying only, is not real. That's when I realized with this spirit, with this Hollywood spirit, the reason why these celebrities go through pain, the false accusation, the part of this spirit, it controls people to take their own life. It controls people to take their own life. So if they cannot get them through court, you have to take your life. It's either through drugs, by overdose. It controls them. I lost my friend during lockdown. He came to me. When this spirit entered, I saw he was like, I take something that you love the most. And which that friend that I love, she took her own life. I'm not going to say her name, but she took her own life. She lived in Reading. She took her own life. She was my friend from South Africa. I loved her so much. But I knew when I got the news that she took her own life, I knew straight away it was it. Because when you have problems and insecurities, it makes things worse. It whispers in your ears like mind control, and then mind control, and then you end up taking your own life. And which is, it can actually control a man. Diddy has been accused of abusing his girlfriend. That could be true because it changes mood swing of a person. When it changes mood swing of a person, it means when you are happy, it will twist, and then you have like anger. It will bring anger. If there is somebody who's got anger problems closer to you, it will bring those feelings to you. It swaps the feelings. If there's somebody who's going through divorce and he just want to play games and take someone else's marriage, he will bring the feelings of that person that is actually going through divorce, the feelings of love that has been lost. He will put it to where there is true love. Those two people could divorce even if they love each other, because it will suppress the feelings, the true feelings. It is a God. Whatever Jesus does, this thing, or it does the same thing as well. It's an imitation of God. So it does the same. It can play with the feelings. If you want this person to, it can play with the sickness. It can give sickness. It can give anything. So now the question myself is he actually guilty of all these things, or now his time is over? It's time for him to hand over the fame to a new Diddy. New Diddy. And who is behind it? Because there's got to be every human blood sacrifice, whatever you call it, in spirit, there is somebody who is in charge of it. And I know that person who is in charge of it. And some of these people have been named, and are those people that I met in the spirit, in the realm of the spirit, that I sacrificed. They actually, the person who is involved in it. But he is, the question now is, did he guilty? And if that's how the culture of film industry, music industry, where the occult has to go on, and then people have to be humiliated. Michael Jackson was humiliated. For me at the time, I don't follow these celebrities, but when I met now Michael Jackson is case in the realm of the spirit, that's when it made me realize that this is how the life is. This is how these people, they are talented, but they join, they sell their soul, and the ending, it does not end. The ending has to be, it's a different, you got to choose your ending. It's either your ending, you die untimely, or you die your death, or you get to be tortured to humiliation, or you get to take your own life. They give you years. When time is up, time is up. When you are no longer the product that they want. Now a new person has to take over in the physically. When that new person, they sell their soul to become the king, like Michael Jackson, he died. So that means there was somebody who replaced him, and a new artist that he had to replace Michael Jackson. But who is behind it? That's the question. And how long are these people going to keep going on with this, with the black within the black community? At the end of the day, the people they have a voice. They can either entertain it and say, we want to entertain it, keep selling your souls, and we're going to support your music, we're going to support your films, or they can take a stand, even the pastors, and take a stand and go to all of this. It's easy to get rid of this spirit and to actually get rid of that altar, because it's the altar that has been created, and that altar will keep going on. Meaning Diddy will get humiliated. When Diddy get humiliated, when his case is over, it will be somebody else that gets humiliated. All of them, they will get humiliated. All of them. That's where they will be going, is their death. That's the path that they have to go. But they die in the spirit. When they die, it does not mean their bloodline is free. It means their bloodline have to go through pain. So that is the white society and black society for music industry. But the question is, why do people, because people, they hear that the celebrity sold their soul, but when they're selling their tickets, they don't have a choice. They have to buy it, because the spirit will go into every city. Is a bird, or whether it's a snake, it will go to every city controlling people to make sure that the tickets are sold out. That's the reason why they join it. People don't buy the tickets because they want to go, they want to support these celebrities. They buy the tickets because they're being controlled. So you don't sell your soul and sell your tickets. You get sold out just people because they like you. They get forced to actually buy the tickets. They get dragged, mentally controlled. Like he will tell you, go to this website. And then you start Googling, and all of a sudden you become Beyonce's biggie fan. If she is into workout, I'm not saying she's into workout. Or all of a sudden you become Diddy, Sean Diddy Holmes' big fan if they're into workout. That's how it works. But people don't know the process of it. They just think, okay, they sold their soul, that's fine, I don't care, I'm just gonna listen to their music. If you listen to a music of somebody who sold their soul, it means you worship their God. They welcome you and they welcome your family to their kingdom. That means when you die, you go to the pit of hell. You go to them. But if you are lucky and God has mercy, because not everyone dies, God allow it. God refuses. Some people, they're lucky like me. God will refuse. But if they are into deep, they go deep. Sometimes it's hard for God to intervene into that situation. And that's why so many people, they die in this spirit. It will put cancer. Even if you don't have cancer, it was actually Lucifer who actually showed me that, because Lucifer does not lie. He tortured me for years from 2016 until after lockdown in 2022, 2021. That's when he appeared. Now, when he was appearing for me, he was appearing for a chart. That's when he appeared for a chart. And he appeared to give me a clue about my grandfather, that is a lie. My grandmother, he was in the music industry. He was accused, but for me, I couldn't understand. I couldn't put it, like, I couldn't I find it hard because he was the man that I spend time. My grandmother coached, my grandfather used to coach me. We spend time together. So I couldn't, it was just me who was saying no, while everybody else he was being accused by people. But then when he came, it was then that when he came, he said, you know what? You are annoying, but I like it because you've challenged me in a way that I can't kill you. But for me not to kill you, it does not mean that I couldn't kill you. I could kill you if I wanted to, but I had to obey. He had to explain to me that he had to obey God, but Lucifer does not do that. Because for me, the pastors that trained me, they trained me to understand that Satan does not speak the language of sorry, cry. The only language he understands is violence. That's how they taught me that Satan understands the language of violence. Where there is violence approach, Satan cannot stand. So when he come, when whatever the spirit that they will bring into my house, into my home, as soon as that spirit, I start feeling it, because I knew that Satan cannot be in the same place. God can be everywhere because he is the creator of the earth. But Satan cannot be in the same place at the same time. He has to project something in order to do something to you. So I understood that part, that in order for them to torture me, they have to project something. So when they have to project something, I had to learn what are they projecting. So when they come, they project, I go outside. I put on, I had things to actually create fire outside my garden. When they start projecting, I go in and create fire. When I create fire, because everything is energy. So when I create a fire, I'll take the tray of the oven, I'll take the saucepan and I'll put the fire into the saucepan. I'll carry it and project it where they have projected the spirit. I'll project it there. So meaning the spirit cannot project itself. It has to have a living human being. If one of the celebrities have joined a cult, they, in order to attack, they need to turn to a snake, or they need to turn to anything invisible in order to attack me, or anybody, let's say a witch doctor, a pastor, anybody. They have to project, they have to turn into something. So I understood that part. And then I'll project it. When I project it, I kill somebody. So it means that person can get killed. So I would just, you do your projection, I do my projection. By the angel of God, it was like, that's how we get trained in my church. That's how we get trained to deal with the spirit. I cannot die for somebody to glorify. Anything, even if it's a knife, you can get a knife invisible and pretend it like as you are cutting. If there is something that is being projected to you, you can get a phone call and somebody telling you that for some reason there's this person who they can see the cut of, or you can chop somebody's head, is a hand without knowing, because they are projecting things to you. When they're projecting, in my house I've done it, and sometimes I see the birds coming down, invisible birds falling down dead. I have done it in my house where I cut, like pretend to be cutting, when I feel like, when I see my children behavior getting changed, or I just, whatever I get, every weapon that I get, I pretend to be, and then I'll be praying. And sometimes the birds in the house, they just fall. I'm like, this is witchcraft. But that's what they are. But now the question is this guy guilty? I can understand for the abuse, if the woman is abusing, if that spirit can do that is part of other things that it does, because they tried to change my character. They tried to change my my mood so that I have a bad character, but they couldn't change me because God had already entered. When they try to change, God will let me feel what they're doing, because I cannot teach. If I decide to actually go and be a pastor, or decide to go and teach people what they do, means that I need to know what is happening, how they work. So they will project, or sometimes they will hit me with, like somebody who has depression, they'll hit me with the depression. So God will allow that arrow to come in. When it comes in, I'll feel it in my head, and then He will take it away straight away, making me feel this is how they work. So now, or sometimes if there is a man who is abusive in the area, if they want to create more abusive men, that's what they do. So it's part of this spirit. That's what it does. It can change the mood, because when somebody sells their soul, selling their soul, it means they need to torture somebody else. You don't just sell your soul to be a good girl or to be a good boy. You have to torture people. You have to kill people. So part of it is his agreement to abuse, to be an abusive, to abuse. I'm not talking about sexual abuse. I'm talking sexual abuse is another sacrifice. But this abuse, anyone that sells their soul, taking drugs, is non-negotiable. It comes with it. You have to take drugs. You have to fornicate, like sleep, like you cannot sleep with one man or one woman as part of it, to keep some people when they join the different occult. Some occult, it means when you join them, you have to sleep with the virgin only, like meaning that they have to go sexually abuse the teenagers. Some of it, they have to abuse children. That's part of it. But it's different when somebody takes a sacrifice for abusing children. That means that is your sacrifice. If someone takes a sacrifice for abusing, like sexually abusing, some of them are married. There are some people who are married to pastors. Pastors, they take that sacrifice for fame, to say, okay, they're going to abuse teenagers. Politician is what they sell their soul for. Everybody knows. But people just, they laugh and say, oh, this one is sold their soul. I so love them. Oh, I so love their music. What do you love about music? Knowing what was behind it. Or maybe they don't know the knowledge, what comes with it. When somebody sells their soul, it means the part of their fame, they have to be their character behind the scenes. They have to sexually abuse children. Some of them, they have to sexually abuse boys or girls, whatever mix. Or some of them, their sacrifice can involve sleeping with virgins. Even if they are married, their wife know that the money is coming in, the more that spirit is fed, because the spirit has to be fed. So the more the spirit is fed, the more the money comes in, the more people, millions of followers come in, everybody's happy. So who can deny the fame? That's what people are. So that's the sacrifice. When somebody says they agreed to sell their soul, that's what they agreed to. But for me now, the question is, there's somebody that has been named through Didi. There's few people that have been named for me that I know that they were part of people that wanted my soul. Because when you go through condemnation, Lucifer is a liar. When the reason why Satan, they call him a liar, people don't understand when Satan is being called a liar, is the promises that he promises to you. He lies. But what he does is he also tells the truth. He lies, he betrays, he recruits this person and he lies to them. He says, I'm going to give you this. That means he's lying. He doesn't tell you the conditions. What are the conditions is what is does not tell them. And then when he was coming to me now, I am the person that they have to kill me. They are all want my blood. But wanting my blood, he tells me the truth. He takes me to a tour and say, this is the person that wants to kill you. And then he makes me feel, a pedophile, he makes me feel that this person want to kill you, but their character, they are not just a killer in spirit, they are actually a pedophile. They are actually this. So I got to go to that tour. Every pastor, every single day, I see pastors, they take the Bible, blood of Jesus, but they wanted to kill me. I'm like, where does Jesus come in when you wanted to kill me? When you are a killer, when you wanted to take my soul, where does Jesus come in? When you preach and telling, when you say blood of Jesus, Jesus is coming. Yeah, come and get your miracle, but you are human blood sacrificer. So I know every pastor who is a human blood sacrificer, but my friends, they worship these pastors, but I'm not allowed to say, because God will not allow me to say, this pastor that you go to is a human blood sacrificer. The only thing that God will allow me is to pray for that pastor to get out of human blood sacrifice. But I'm not allowed. The minute I spread the gossip about the names that I know that are into human blood sacrifices, the minute God will turn his back on me. He will not allow me to do that. Any a pastor that is serving God, or anyone, a child of God that is serving God, if they blame or they gossip, God does not allow that. But Lucifer, he is a liar, but he is also a liar. He sells people out. They wanted to kill me, but he agreed and said, yeah. But then when he was coming to me, he makes me feel, he made me realize who actually wants to take my life. And even himself, he said, I knew you wouldn't die anyway. But I like you because you challenged me. He knew he was following me. Lucifer was following me since the day I was born. When I was 9, he came to me and gave me a warning and said, I'm watching you. So I knew that he was watching me. I knew that at the same time, God was watching me too. He knew he wanted that chance, but because me and him, we share a father. He's an angel, I'm an angel. So we can understand, we communicate with God. How he communicates with God is how I communicate with God. So he can understand when God says you can't take her life, he obeys. So he obeys everything that God says. Lucifer obeys, Satan obeys. But at the same time, Satan doesn't lie. There are some people who have had their marriage being destroyed. You will hear them saying, oh, I had a dream. He gives you a warning. Even with the sickness, if the sickness comes from God, God will give you a warning about that sickness for you to ask for mercy. If the sickness is not meant to take your life, but people don't take their dreams very, very serious. Even Satan himself, if it comes from him, he will give you a warning before he does what he does. Everything, it's a warning. He will give you a warning. For me, I did not see Didi there. He is a person that I did not see. because whatever he sold is behind the scenes. But there are people that are at the front, that are in charge, that I saw, that I can say their names, but I'm not allowed to say it. So the question is, for me, and just asking questions, I'm just interested. Is he guilty, this man, or is he not guilty? Anything that the evidence that is being brought through the video, me, I can take it, I can accept it, but because of what I've been through, and because of what I have seen, what these people do, these famous people and non-famous people, what they do, even in the area where I live, there are people who are rich, but they are not rich because they are rich because they sold their soul. And in order for them to actually keep that wealth, they are taking lives. I can tell you the names. Some people I went to their funeral, and I was like, God, how can this happen? How can these people take this life? This life that it does not belong to them. I went to some people's funeral knowing that they didn't die because they died. They were taken through sacrifice. In Henley, where I live, someday is a story that I will leave to write a book about it. It's a story that is sometimes Lucifer comes in and torture me and say, it hurts. One day you're going to get old and get 100 and start writing a story and telling names of the people that you saw dying through the Satan. He doesn't lie. And even these celebrities, like when they start throwing accusations against each other, is mind control, is part of it. When he takes over, it takes over. Because one more thing, if this spirit is really does not want Dede to go to prison, if they have joined this spirit, obviously is into occult. If he is joined to this occult, if he wants to get him out, he can get him out anytime, any place. He can just make the case disappear. Is one of the guards. One of the guards, meaning he can go and control the lawyer. You do this, there's no evidence, or he can make the evidence disappear. But is the torture, meaning that as part of the agreement, the signature that he put, once he make money and he gets into a stage of the age that he has got to be humiliated, he is got to get out, meaning that he has had enough fame. If you look at Michael Jackson, he died the same way. Whitney Houston, she died. The list goes on of these people. There are some celebrities who are found dead, unexpected death, like they took overdose. And overdose as part of this spirit mind control. As part of mind control. And when it's part of mind control, and now we have to ask ourselves, what is the society doing about it? Because there's laws of people now that are like sacrificing people. The pastors are doing it. You go to church, you say blood of Jesus, and the pastor says miracle time. And then they're like, I need to touch your head, I need to pray for you, but they're not actually praying for you. They are checking your glory. This spirit wants them to touch you. Once they touch you, they take your life. Swapping. I've gone through all that, where my life basically, when I was going through human blood sacrifice, it means my identity was transferred to somebody else. No matter how hard, how hard I try to succeed, if I don't pray or if I don't stay with God, that person gets to get my glory. If I'm meant to be a millionaire, that person gets to be a millionaire. If I'm meant to be famous, that person gets fame. Whatever I'm meant to be, that person gets everything. That it gets my identity. So that's what these people, their souls, meaning that sometimes they become millionaires, they become billionaires, But when you sell your soul, you don't no longer using your identity. You use somebody else's identity. It means that when they go on stage, they sing. Sometimes they can sound amazing, but the voices of the audience could be combined together to give the strength of that person's voice. They're no longer singing, the audience are doing the work for them. No, like when they dance, that spirit it takes over. Your dance becomes amazing. Your voice becomes amazing. So, and then in the question I had for Lucifer, I was like, why do you do this to destroying people anyway? These people already have their own voices. But why selling their soul? And it was like, it's part of the deal. I couldn't understand it myself. I was like, why, if I already have an amazing voice, why would you ask me to sell my soul? Then you're going to make me great. But then I realized later on, I realized actually these people, they're not selling, they're not agreeing. When Lucifer came now, when he was coming to chat, when he was appearing, like he was like, I come in peace. I don't come, but I need to show you something. And he was showing me. He was like, if I wanted to kill you, it would have taken me 5 seconds. And I could feel the squishing, the squashing. I could feel that here was actually squashing me. I was like, okay, let me go. Talk. And he was like, look down. And he asked me to get a plain paper. And he said, that plain paper, you see this plain is not written? I was like, yeah. And he was like, look down now. I could read the words. I could read what he was written, and he was showing me that when sometimes he wants to create a sickness for somebody, in that through that horoscope, he can write for the doctors to see what your diagnosis. He can diagnose people the wrong diagnosis. If you are not a child of God and if you don't know anything about him, you say to the doc, oh yes, if the doctor says you've got cancer, you agree to it even if it's not cancer. He then has to create the real cancer to you. That's what he does. But people don't know that's what he does. But part of the sacrifice of these celebrities, there's one celebrity. I don't know whether there's more. One celebrity, his altar or her altar is not he or she, guys. Whether it's he or she, you don't need to know. Their altar is the altar of cancer, to put cancer in people. That celebrity, their altar is to put cancer in people. And they did it to me. When I went to the doctors, they kept saying your test is not clear. And I said, I haven't got cancer. My bloodline in my family, we've never had cancer before. I don't. And I refused. And the pastors, they had to pray. They had to pray. They had to pray with me. They had to pray with me, reading the scriptures. And they said, now go and do the test. And the test was clear. It was nothing, because Lucifer obeys. When it was part of my torture, my slow death, I had to die in different disease, but I refused. I didn't refuse it because maybe I was smart or because it was God. He was always there. And for me, when these pastors were explaining, I got confused. It took me 2 years to actually get it into my head. But when I got it into my head, when I got used to it, that's when I was now fighting him, because they had trained me how to fight him. And now when he appears, that's when I realize that he does not understand the sweetest talk. He understands violence. This is where when he comes in, I'll read the Bible. And then I realize when I read the Bible, he's not listening. So God has said they are projecting something. So what can you use? Look around. What can you use to destroy an image that is being projected as like a fire? For 1 year, I had to bath with the chili. In Henley Market, every Thursday, I will go and buy that green chili every Thursday to make sure that the chili will last me for a week. When they come back on Thursday, I'll go back again to protect my head. But now, if you can ask me and say no Sabbath with chili, I can't do it. How I did it, I don't know. But I would not, if you were to ask me now to use the chili to bath, because number one, it will get into my ears. But if you were to say, no, do it now, I won't do. I wouldn't be able to do it. But at the time when they were attacking my brain, the Holy Spirit came in, and the only thing that came was, what can I use? Chili. And then I went and I started buying chili every weekend. Every Thursday, I'll go and buy chili at the Henley Market. I'll use the chili all over my body. And that's how I survived. And I could see people around me were falling, mentally health. They were falling, but I couldn't help. There are times where I had a broken leg and not doing anything. But then I was like, I'm not using crutches. I cried. I walked to work. I was crying. My legs were swelling. I was crying. But because I refused, and 2 days later, I think a few days later, my leg went back to normal. And that's when I realized it is using magic. So many things that were happening. It was part of my torture. But if you were to say, Nomsa, go back and use chili, bath with chili, I'll be like, no, that's madness. I wouldn't do it. But I did it because I wasn't under control. God was under control. I wasn't. It was like I had to feel the pain, what they were doing. But then I'll bath with chili. When they come, there were times where one of the famous pastor died. There were times where in that day, the fight was too much. And I took the fire. I put the fire like I normally do. I went to every room, projecting in the ceiling, projecting the fire, making sure that is not going to the ceiling. I went to every corner in the living room. I went to every corner in every room where I live. And I could feel that thing had left, but that pastor was pronounced dead the following day. And that moment, because I knew he was part of the people that were torturing me, I didn't take any notice at the time. It was when in church, when I started telling people what happened. And one of the guys was like, do you realize you killed this person? And I was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, Nomsa, projecting fire to the energy of witchcraft. That means you killed that person because they were projecting something and you projected fire. You killed them. I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't. But that person died. They wanted to kill me. And that is that day when I realized actually witchcraft is real. But this is a famous pastor. Everybody knows him. People in the United Kingdom, they'll die for him. They'll go to Africa and do the work with him, but he died. He was part of the people that were torturing me. And when I got really angry, I was angry that day. And I was like, I'm not dying. If somebody has to die, it's not going to be me. And I projected the fire. I just went. God was on my side. I just went and put the fire and waited for the flames to go down. But the little bit of flames were still going, and I carried the tray everywhere. I projected in every room. My head, it left. When it left, I saw the news. And I was like, you were torturing me, you're dead, but I didn't take any notice. So now the question is he guilty or not? I don't know. And I don't believe it. the only thing that I would believe is the evidence where they have actually the videos. But with the abusing that girl, I believe it, because when you join a cult, part of it, you have to torture, and you become abusive. And I've watched people that the pattern in the spirit as well is what it was doing to me, wanting me to abuse my children, wanting me to abuse the men that I love. But because God was there, God will show me this is what they're doing. It's not your feelings. He will just take that off. But I had to learn. He will allow it to enter. When he enters, then he will show me. And that person, if somebody can kill somebody, if they join that thing, they can become a killer. So all these things now that I have learned, I've gone through. Now the question in myself that I have to ask myself is, because I know what I saw and I know what I felt and I know how their spirit works. Now the question is he guilty? I don't know. I lost my friend, lost her son just by the spirit taking over. And through that, she just made a phone call and it didn't make sense. To me, I got confused. I was like, what's going on? I got confused. I didn't get angry. I got confused when the pastors sat me down and started explaining to me, this is how it works. And I was like, are you kidding me? That means I have to go through this. Yeah, it's part of the torture. If I was a celebrity in public, I would have been accused of other things. But because I'm not, so part of my torture was for me to go through social services, was for me to go through social services. They have to call the police. I've gone through social services. I've gone through psychiatric doctors. I had to go through all these things. And when psychiatric doctors come in, they're on my side. I could see God's work, that God is working. They're like on my side. They're like talking like, Nomsa, all these people, they depend on me putting a signature for you to be declared mentally healthy, but I'm not going to do that because what you're saying makes sense. So you can see that God, it works. But if I was a celebrity, I would have gone to court. My torture would have been different. So now the question is, are these people actually guilty? Or is it part of the things? Because this spirit taught me. And even Lucifer himself with my granddad. With my granddad, it was too late. When I actually cleared his name, he died a few months later. When his children, and when I finally cleared my grandfather's name and gave the evidence to his children, it was already too late. It was already too late, but it was the evidence when Lucifer, when God actually started to say, look deep, Nomsa. But the person that was my grandfather's best friend, it was a woman. Best friend, she's the one that was behind everything. But all the blame, she even in the realm of the spirit, this occultic spirit, because my granddad had joined the spirit. What he had joined the spirit for, I have no idea. He didn't join it to kill anybody. He's in the industry. He just joined it. But then when I'm realizing actually the actually person who is the leader is my neighbor, is my grandmother, my grandfather's friend, the person that she was wealth, really, really well respected, famous, well respected as well. So I was like, what the heck is going on? And that was when my fight was over. And then Lucifer, he came in and he was like, okay, Nomsa, let me tell you your character. Your character, what's in your heart is everybody tells you about your granddad, my grandfather, this, he has done this, he's done this. The truth is, it's a lie. Here's the person that is doing it to people. And now I had to gather the evidence. When I got the evidence, it was already too late. The man was broken. My family had been turned upside down. But he was innocent. Broke my heart. The way people treated him in the community, in the area. He was shamed. And he wanted to do this to me as well, to shame me, because I'd refused to die. So I had to go through. The reason why I had to go through that is because I'm living this life that I'm living because of my choice. I refused to become famous. I refused to sign. When I wanted to be famous with the music, I refused. I was like, I need to think about this. I need to travel. I need to spend time with my mom because my parents are divorced. But because I refused, it does not mean that in the spirit, it means that's my identity. So he had to torture me. But by torturing me because of the job that I do, he had to destroy my character. If I was in public really being famous, he would have done it in a different way, but which is a lie. My friend reported me through social services because the spirit had taken over. That was a lie. The head teacher reported me. That was a lie. And all my other friend wanted to kill me and humiliated me. And that was a lie. So now, for me, if you come to me and say, believe the crap, for me, I don't believe the crap unless you present the evidence. And I know that these people, they sell their soul as part of it. When they sell their soul, they have to be humiliated. When the time is over, they ask is either if I want to be famous for 30 years. When that 30 years is over, I got to face my trial with Satan. If I ask for 50 years, because you don't ask for it, you pick a number. If I pick a number which is 50 years, some even pick 4 years, some even pick 2 years. Because you don't get it to get a choice, you get picked. Or sometimes they will say, open it. So when you open it, you get to see it's 2 years. I've seen people that I've listened to, people, pastors who have agreed to it, 2 years, 1 year, but you die. You either die in that year after a year, untimely death, or you get sick, you die, or if you don't die, it's overdose. If it's not overdose, you get humiliated to go to prison because that is you go to prison, that is that is your trial. That's the agreement. You have to put a bloody signature. So now this is the culture for me. Before, I would just watch the celebrities when they're going to court, and then I'll be like, this one is guilty, this one is guilty. But now it pisses me off to know that if my child has to go, if she wants to be famous, she cannot be famous unless she is part of a cult. If she's not part of a cult, that means she has to go through trials and tribulations in order to get there. Because the culture is of film industry and music industry, you have to join this cult. Without joining, when you are not part of this society, of secret society, that means you have to go through pain. You can still get famous, but it's not easy. You can still get famous, but they don't make it easy. But with God, it becomes easy, but not everybody is a child of God. With God, it becomes easy. Without him, it's hard. Because these people have their own God, you have to have your own God, and you have to worship Jesus with the truth. And that's how I survived. For me, I had to choose to survive. Lucifer entered to me and offered me a lifetime. I will make you these rooms, I will make you this. And the Hollywood spirit entered and said, I will make you this, I will make you that. But God doesn't speak. God does not offer anything. He offers love. He does not offer to say, I give you this, I give you that. He comes in silent. All you feel is the love of him, unconditional love, because that's what he does. He is the God of truth. He is this spirit that testifies the truth. So when he comes, he doesn't have to convince you. You are his father. Like for me, God is my father. And when he comes, when he was there, Lucifer was busy offering me what he was offering me. I was like, crap. This one is offering me what he wanted to offer me. I'm like, crap. What is in it for me? When I ask that question, what is in it for me? That's when he did not answer. Celebrities don't answer. They don't ask that question. When he says, sell your soul, I will make you this. They listen to one side. I will make you this. But in what conditions? So he doesn't tell them the conditions. But if for God, if for me, I survive, I cannot sit here and tell you that I refuse Lucifer. I didn't. And tell you that I refuse the Hollywood spirit. I didn't, because God was there. I was fasting that time for 50 days. God was there. He's the one that said no to Lucifer, not me. He is the one that said no to the Hollywood spirit, not me. But to me, I had a choice. What he had to do to me is to say, give me the love, this unconditional love. But when I feel this love, when I feel this unconditional love, it was then. Now I had to take over. God will stay silent. I had to take over now. And then I had to speak to Lucifer. I had to speak to the Hollywood spirit. And I told them to leave. And he was like, fine, I will go. But when I go, I will open the door. He opened the door for many, many, many gods and many, many ancestors to come and attack. That's when I came to meet every celebrity that is involved in occult, every celebrity that is involved in sexually abusing children, sexually abusing women, sexually abusing people, whatever, men, you name it. That's when I will smell the blood. You know, the blood, when the blood is being spilled, I will go through and smell the blood. And that's when I realized that it wasn't something nice. So then when these people were entering, they were not entering me to see who they are, just to see them. They were entering for attack, because that's what they've joined occult for. They don't join occult for fun. So I had to go through them every single day for years. And that's when the pastors will go into the spirit, ask for forgiveness on my behalf, because God, when God says no, he says no. But then Lucifer now, because he is an accuser, he has to go in every bloodline and look where my family made a mistake and bring that judgment over me, upon me. So that judgment was being brought. Sometimes he will bring it. Maybe it was my parents, maybe it was my ancestors. And then until we go to an end where when the fight now was too big, and then I said, God, why is this fight getting too big? When is it going to stop? And God has said, your family are not who they say they are. Look deeper. I had to take a test, emergency, and send it to the US for DNA. And when the DNA came, I wasn't South African. My family are not South African. My father's mom, she is the one who is South African. My family, half Nigerian, half Kenya, and they come from a royal family. So then when he was attacking me now, he was now attacking me for my bloodline. My family now, I was facing the trials and tribulations of my family. So then I said, why do I have to go through this? Because my family wanted to survive. They had to go to a country where they will be accepted. There was a white somebody in my family, and that person, where they were not allowed to get married to Jew slavery to a black person. So they had to leave the kingdom behind. When they left the kingdom behind, they had to go to South Africa, and they stayed there. They lived a lie. They were not who they were. They lived there, and the kingdom was left behind. But my granddad, the one that I had to clear his name, he was still in the royal family. So that's when I had to go through that pain. So I got confused. And I was like, do you mean, but how I presented myself in the physically is how I lived my life. I was born a leader, meaning I'm a princess. Princess, being a princess, you have to have leadership skills. And part of it is why they wanted to sacrifice me. Because these people knew what I didn't know. My dad used to tell me, but I didn't believe him. Even growing up as a kid, I'll never wear any trousers. I'll wear dresses, princess dresses. And when I want, if you look at my profile, there's a dress wearing a red dress sitting on the chair. It was when we just were taking pictures. The guy just came in with the chair and he said, do you want to sit here? That was one of the angel of God wanting to show me that this is who I am. This is when I got the test. Now I was looking back with my behavior, the things that I did. It actually fitted completely with me coming in from royal family. So then I had to accept I had to accept my life, and that's when he stopped. When I accepted my life, when the secret was revealed that my family actually, they are royal family, that's when he backed off. When he backed off, because he was hitting me through the pain of what my ancestors went through, because the pain, it does not go away. The slavery pain doesn't go away. It stayed with them. You then have to forgive. You then have to go through and ask God to wipe away that pain so they can rest in peace. They were not rested in peace because there was anger in them, that they were removed from their identity. But the person that wanted to sacrifice me knew exactly that my family, who they were, because the Spirit knows everything. So, and they knew that they would get wealth through me, regardless of what. So and that's why they were fighting me. So after, when they were fighting me, and that's when I started asking questions, because God is a person. I've learned that God is a person. So I will ask, and I'll sit down and say, God, it's too much. I can't take this anymore. Why? And it was like, you need to search, go through deep. And the angel of God going through deep, it means DNA fast. So I was like, DNA? What is the DNA going to do with me? Am I not my father's child? Am I not my mother's child? Did my mother lie to my dad? So I took the DNA. The DNA comes back. I was so excited when the DNA came. I was like, okay, this is what it is. Lucifer is a liar. When I opened it, it turns out he was telling the truth. He was fighting me for the truth. And since then, he left. But he shows up every now and then. he shows up to try to torture me, but because me and him, we have something in common. I can feel him, he can feel me. So we have a showdown every time he comes. Sometimes he sends ancestors and we have a showdown. I have a showdown with ancestors and they will leave. Or when he comes at the gate, because there's the angel that is the gatekeeper in the area where I live, he will warn me that they are coming. So I have to get ready. I have to call the angels of God to come and get ready. When they come, then I tell them the reason why they cannot do what they do, or even if they're coming to Henley to attack people, I have to do. I have to stand and intercede. So that's what I do. But now the question is Diddy guilty? I'll leave that question for you guys to actually work it through. Because for me, I believe anything that is presented through video, through evidence, photos, I will believe it. But if there's just mouth, for what I have learned with this spirit can send somebody to prison for 100 years. It can torture. He enters somebody and people start lying. I watch my friend turning against me. And at the time, because the angel of God was with me, I didn't ask why. I cried because I felt I was disappointed in her. I feel humiliated. But when I got home, there was this love from God, but meaning that I had to remove myself from her. You can't hang out with somebody like that unless God allows, but you cannot turn your back. It meaning that even though her friend wanted to kill me, if she comes to me for help, means I have to provide that help. If she hasn't got food, I got to provide. Or even if God blesses me with finances, I have to could even put money in her account secretly if I have it. That's how God works. Some people say, you know what, I can't stand this person, and they start getting angry, but they don't know how God works. God does not work like that. Those who hurt you the most is the one that he wants you to save. That's how it works. So guys, I've got to come back at 1 o'clock. I've been here for 2 hours. I've got to come back at 1 o'clock to actually do my talk show. This was just for me. It was just for me. I wanted to do this thing about Diddy, but I have to come back. I've got a show at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to go and I'll see you at 1 p.m. So this is my story, guys, about the Hollywood spirit and the Hollywood and Lucifer. So, but I don't know whether Diddy is guilty. So for me, what I know is he wasn't there. I can say in God's name that he wasn't there. I did not see him. But there is somebody that was there. There's a celebrity that is actually doing what Diddy has been accused. And this celebrity even took my cousin's life. It took my grandfather's life. It took how many people that I know? Maybe 10 people that I know. The celebrity. It took people from me, maybe more than 10. My friend's friends, their parents were dropping dead. And I knew, but there was nothing I can say. So that's why I put that video yesterday. Whoever, if you've never consulted a psychic, if you are connected to me, don't. Because the one thing my friends will come and say, because if you are a Christian and you consult a psychic, it's a sin. It means you belong to Lucifer. Is the kingdom. He is the one that God does not tell you your future without any help. He does not allow a false prophecy. When God tells you something, he tells you because he wants you to solve it and he wants you to know. Like for me, I come from a royal family. He revealed that to me because he wanted me to sort my life out, and I sorted my life out. And then straight away, so I had to understand my identity. And understanding my identity, that's when everything had to fall into place. Why these people wanted to kill me. If the kingdom of my family is there, it means I would have been the one that was chosen to take over the kingdom. As a princess, I would have been the one because of the love. And my family, even in the physically, they were behaving exactly the same. So I couldn't understand. But in some of my family, they knew the truth. And they hated my father for being that person because they knew that everything, he would have been the king and Nomsa would have been the princess in the family. And if my father would have died, I have a brother, but my family wouldn't have chosen my brother to take over the kingdom. They would have chosen what they wanted. It goes. And everybody knew what was going on. And my nickname, he gave me my nickname based on the kingdom of my family. That was always my nickname. Everybody calls me that. The person who they wanted me to take over the kingdom. But everybody knew. So when I came now to face Lucifer, that's when they all saying everybody agreed for us to take your life. Apart of my grandfather, the one that they were accusing, my grandfather bowed down. He said, your grandfather bowed down when we were mentioning you and said she cannot be killed. When he was bowing down, it means as much as I respect my granddaughter, she is the chosen one, but she cannot be taken. He's the one that refused. But when he refused, I was the person that did not believe that he was guilty until I prove he's innocent, because I didn't give up on him. I believed in my heart that my grandfather was accused the same thing that he did is being abused, similar things, because that's industry, that's where he is. So if this life, that's how it is now, the question is this how my children or somebody else's children, they will have to face this Hollywood culture of killing each other, joining a cult. When we join a cult, then we have to put each other into prison, because the next thing he did, will go through trial. When he goes through trial, he will be left with nothing. When he's left with nothing, that's when the other option is to can you take your own life? Then he will be found dead in his compound, whatever. And that will be the end for him. And that's when everybody is going. Now, guys, I'm going to leave you with a question. One day, I'm going to reveal to you what kind of a spirit is that is putting celebrity through this, that is sacrificing people, that is controlling people. If you go outside, start looking, this the spirit is actually in the nature, is outside. In the nature, when you look, everybody can see it. I'll reveal it to you. I have to pray about it one day. I'll come and reveal it to you, what kind of a spirit that is. But the spirit that is actually carrying people is like, what do you call it when people go to these celebrity, what do they call it, to their shows and stuff? There's a specific word that they call it. if I remember, I'll tell you, is called that. And it is Lucifer. God has an ally on earth. God's ally is water, is the water and the blood. What's the third one? It's water, the blood, and is it the body? Oh, it's I think it's in Matthew or John. Is it in Matthew? Matthew. Yeah, I got it. When I remember, it's water. God has three all in one: spirit, water, and the blood that testifies the truth. Meaning that whatever you speak, whatever you request to God, because the Holy Spirit live within you. That's why it's the water, meaning water that comes from the tap. If you are sick, you pray for the water, you get healed. In my church, they call it manna water. You can check with Dr. Olukoya. Everything that I just explained to you guys, if you go and find Dr. Olukoya, he explains, you will be able to understand it. He explains it better than I. If you go and find James Kawalia on YouTube, James Kawalia, he followed Lucifer when he was 4 years old. He says when he was 4 years old, he was in charge of kingdoms and kingdoms. He was the one that was giving celebrities fame. He was the one that was giving these people, normal people, fame. If he now is a pastor, he's converted to be a pastor. So when he explained, you will be able to understand it better than I. And there's another American pastor, what's his name? I've forgotten his name, that he does that. It is not many of them. And there's another one, is he American or is called, there's two Prince. I think his name is Prince, but there's Prince, that one, I don't want to talk about him. There's another one, but this one, I've forgotten his name, but he talks about witchcraft as well, how it works. And he talks similar to Dr. Olukoya and stuff. So you will be able to understand it. And even if you've gone through it, you'll be able to identify, because when they attack, they don't just attack. When they were in the United Kingdom, they were not just attacking me only. Where there is an altar of death, my death brought them to me, meaning that they had to kill other people in the process and torture people. That means they didn't just torture me. Yes, and my friends, when I explain, when they start looking back, and instead of saying, Nomsa, you've gone mad, if they start looking back, they will realize that he actually tortured them, because he made it very, very obvious what he was doing. Very, very, very obvious. Sometimes people can have like aggressive behavior and stuff. So he made it very, very, very obvious. And some people lost their families. And some people were lost in Henley Thames. There were lots of people who went down with mental health. That means he was attacking mentally. If you don't know, if you tell a white people, that is witchcraft. But what Lucifer was doing, if you look at it in 1950s in the United Kingdom, or is it 1950s or 1960s or 40s, there's a time where the United Kingdom was attacked through witchcraft, and people had to they had to be sectioned. When they had to be sectioned, I think some scientists, they concluded that it was witchcraft. But what they didn't tell people the truth. The witchcraft was going on. They did talk. If you Google it, the witchcraft where that troubled the United Kingdom, where people had to be sectioned, it comes up online if you Google it. And then when you Google that, though they didn't tell the public that it was witchcraft, but secretly that thing was put to rest. But when they came to Henley, they rose that thing up to actually start attacking people. I can tell you the place because they told me in order to actually perform the ritual, they need a living human being because for me, I was not meant to survive. They didn't think that I would survive. So they pulled me and took me to that grave where they rose the spirit, where the spirit was raised. One day when I find the courage, I'll go and take a video and say, this is the place where they actually did occult to actually mentally hit people with whatever they are hitting. I'll one day when I have the courage, because I tried to tell one of the pastors, they thought I was crazy, and I was like, you stay that way, thinking that way. But one day when I have the courage, I will go to the altar because they used something and then that rose, meaning that people were being put mentally, they were being put in hospitals, but I had to go quiet because sometimes the people, they wouldn't believe, but I survived. I was not meant to survive. They took me, were in my sleep, they took me, but I could feel it. God, make sure that I feel it and I see it. It was even connected to politics. I went through the house where they used to get meetings, politics, and then I went there, and then they took me there because they needed my energy to channel whatever they were doing, but I survived. It didn't work. I didn't die, I survived. So someday, that's why I find it hard to believe that Didi is guilty because I didn't see him there. I saw other people, and some of them have been named. And this person that has been named, he is the king. He or she is the king of the kings in the spirit for everything, is in charge of everything. The artist, everything. And they are putting altar, killing people through cancer. Royal family, they are going through it. He even spoke. Lucifer even spoke through my father-in-law to let me know. And my spouse was there, but he can't remember. When I talked to him, he says I'm crazy, but he spoke. But one day he will remind him. He spoke. Why United Kingdom is under judgment. What did the Queen do? He spoke. And my father-in-law was one of the people that would have shaped it in Australia. He spoke through my father-in-law. Why is putting United Kingdom under judgment? And me is the things that I didn't know, but he spoke. My father-in-law was talking. But it could, to me, it was translating in a different way. Lucifer was like, this is what I'm using against the United Kingdom. Because for me, I was fighting. So he had to tell me, no, this is the party that I'm using. I'm using this against the UK, the United Kingdom. This is what the Queen, and the Queen didn't stay long. She was gone. After that, she was gone. And then after a year later, your husband was gone, or after whatever, he was gone. And now Katie, she's facing cancer. One day, I will take you to the place where they did the ritual. And that ritual is connected to the royal family. That place is connected to the royal family. He did it in a way that it cannot be undone. Apart from if anyone needs to undo it, they need to go and find Dr. Olukoya. He was very, very clear that no one can do it apart from him or any pastor that is using, that works like him, because my pastor deals with witchcraft. Nothing else. He deals with witchcraft and bloodline and the sins of our bloodline. He doesn't teach miracles. He doesn't do that. And in my church, you don't go wearing lipstick or makeup or with your hair done. You have to cover yourself. You have to dress like a proper person. So he does not allow that. So when he put that judgment, he made it very clear. If the United Kingdom want to undo this, they're going to have to find your Dr. Olukoya. They're going to have to find him. He's the only person that he put that to undo that, not the only person, either other pastors that are doing similar work to get United Kingdom off judgment. But also, United Kingdom can get themselves off the judgment, meaning where he cast the ritual is the Bible. If they get like maybe 10 people or 20 people every single day, and they read the Bible in that place and asking for God for mercy, God will remove it. It's very, very easy and simple that, but he knows that Church of England don't pray like that. He knows that United Kingdom, not a few people are Christian. He knows that not a few people believe like that. So that's why he left that cry there. He left it there. People can remove it. Anybody can go and remove it. But the only person why he said it did it, bye guys, I'm going to have to go. I think. I'm going to have to go, guys. I'm going to have to go. I'll see you in 30 minutes. So I'm going to have to go. So once I have the time, one day, not now, one day I will go and show you why people are dying of cancer in the UK, why people have mental health problems, why people's marriages are falling apart. I will go, there's 2 altars where they created the ritual. So one day I will go and do it. But they did it. That's how they work. If you go on YouTube, there's a pastor who used to channel, like if he's in Italy, he's Italian. But he wasn't. Oh, okay, guys, I gotta go. Completely have to go. I'll see you in an hour's time. I gotta go.